Guess what we doing today? Oh my goodness. How many of you in the comments below remember this opening? It's Fan Friday! You wouldn't remember that. You've never been in a Fan Friday video, have you? Oh my goodness. How many of you guys remember Fan Friday? Now I know it's not Friday. But today's video is going to feel very similar to a Fan Friday because what I did is I posted on our Instagram. If you're not following us on our Instagram, you totally should be. And I asked you guys to ask me some questions about grooming the dogs. And boy, did you guys have a lot of questions. So I went through and I picked a bunch of random ones. And today we are going to answer your questions about grooming the dogs, about keeping the house clean, about what we use. And as always, there will be some links down in the video description below if you guys want to get any of the things that you see in today's video. Let's get into it. What do you think? First question is, are the dogs shedding? Here, wait, look, can I do? Oh, I missed. Hold on. I got this. Yes, they are. I stole your floofs. Eleanor, I stole them. I stole these floofs. These floofs are mine. She's like, Mom, you stole my floofs. It's rude. You shouldn't steal people's floofs. Bless you. Anyway, let's get into some of the questions that you guys submitted for today's video. How long does grooming take? So, from start to finish, from like a bath to drying to a blowout to all of the stuff that we do when we groom our dogs, probably about hour and a half to 2 hours. If I want to make sure they're fully dry, it's a good hour and a half to 2 hours per dog, which is also why I can't do all the dogs in one day. Oh my goodness! This is how it's gonna be today. This is how it's going to be today, guys. Feisty craziness. So the next question we got was, how do you know that all of the soap is out of your dog's fur? So this is really important when you're bathing your dogs. You want to make sure to get all of that soap residue out of their fur. Because if you don't, they can become itchy, they can get dirt stuck to them again. Soap will attract dirt, which is kind of crazy, which is why, like when you clean your rugs, you need to make sure to rinse everything properly because otherwise all the soap gets trapped in there. Memphis is feisty today, can you tell? Memphis is like, I'm feisty today. So anyway, to answer your question, how do you make sure you got all the soap out? I use this. It is called After You Bathe, and this is a final rinse solution. Now, I actually use this before I use conditioner, because most of the conditioners I use, you can leave some of that in, and it's not going to do any harm to your dog's coat. And the conditioner is not going to leave that same residue as like a standard shampoo does. So that is what I use to make sure that all of the soap and shampoo is out of their fur, and then just, you know, lots of rinsing. Lots and lots of rinsing. The next question we got is, how often should you bathe your Huskies? So, believe it or not, Eleanor is just over 2 years old. That dog has never had a bath. I am a believer that they really don't need a bath unless they actually need one. Memphis does get bathed a little bit more than the other two because she's white, and her white fur will sometimes show the grime and the dirt from when they're laying on the ground. So Memphis usually gets a bath maybe once or twice a year. Kira maybe once a year. Eleanor needs her once a year bath. We just haven't done it yet. My dogs also do spend a lot of time in the pool, which also helps rinse a lot of dirt and stuff like that off of them. Wow, Memphis, you really are feisty today. Yeah, you guys never get to see this side of Memphis. So the next question we got is, what do you use to cut their nails? I'm always afraid I'm going to cut the quick. Me too. They actually make something called Quick Stop. You should invest in that. It will make you feel a lot safer when you're doing your dog's nails. But I like to use a Dremel. You can see here it has a grinding wheel attachment on the top of it. They also make grinders specifically for doing dogs' nails. Those are my favorite things to use. The Dremel I tend to use at home, and then I have a couple of other ones that I use when we're traveling that I take with us. But that is what I use to do my dog's nails. So I grind them because I feel like it's a lot safer. And my dogs are pretty good with it. You guys are all crazy. And for how often, I try to grind the dog's nails about once a week to once every 2 weeks because it helps keeps their nails nice and trim, and the more you do them, the further back that quick will recede. So then you don't end up with dogs with super long nails that are clicky-clacky and all over the place. Another question we got was about what type of shampoo we used. You're gonna figure out real quick that I am a huge fan of the Christensen brand of shampoos. This is the white on white that I use on Memphis to make her super bright white. I'm currently out of their standard shampoo that I use on the rest of the dogs, but it is from the same brand, the Chris Christensen. And then for the conditioner, I use Spectrum 10, which of course is also by Chris Christensen. So the next question we got is, how do you decide what products are the best for grooming the dogs? This is a trial and error thing. This is something that you're pretty much gonna have to figure out on your own. Trial and error. I have used a lot of products over the past few years. I have figured out which ones I've liked the best. Sometimes they change their formulas and I have to go through and figure it all out again. So it's a lot of trial and error. The Chris Christensen is a lot of people in the professional dog grooming world use his products, and that was one of the companies that I was like, oh, I really, really, really like this product. I like this stuff. So like I said, that is one you're gonna see a lot throughout this video for sure. They're definitely one of my favorite. Their brushes, their everything. Pretty much everything they make, I absolutely love. So to go along with the how often should you bathe Huskies, somebody else asked, how often do you blow out their coats? Now, I blow out my dog's coats far more than I bathe them, because blowing out their coats gets all of that dander out from underneath their coats, and it really lets their natural oils, hi baby, their natural oils come back to the surface, and it keeps their coats so shiny and healthy. A lot of you guys are always asking, you know, how come your dogs are so soft if you don't bathe them all the time? And a lot of it has to do with coat care, brushing all the time, blowing out their coats like once a week, once every other week. Those things really, really help in keeping their coat nice and healthy. Then of course they also do get some supplements that also keep their coat healthy. Speaking of keeping their coats healthy, this is a dog grooming vacuum. Those are also really nice to have in between when blowing out their coats and brushing them. And the nice thing about this is it sucks up the hair, it goes right into the machine. And speaking of vacuums, a lot of you guys are always asking, how do we keep the house so clean? Well, as you know, we own multiple vacuums, but today I'm going to talk to you about our newest vacuum that we've been using for a couple of weeks now. Eufy was kind enough to sponsor today's video, so if you guys are interested in this vacuum cleaner or any of their other products, there will be some links down in the video description below. This is the newest way to battle not just the fur, but also keep the floors cleaned in the house. This is the Eufy X10 Pro Omni, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit about this right now. So this is one of the best value Omni robotic vacuum cleaners that you can buy. This thing has amazing suction power and it mops, and you can get it for under $1,000. This thing is pretty cool, and of course my dogs were interested in it when we ran it the first few times, and now it doesn't bother them at all. One of the things I love about this is it does have AI obstacle avoidance. You can set in the app that you have pets in the house, and it is going to know that it's your pet, and it's not gonna run into them, which, you know, is a huge plus for us, especially for like Memphis, who doesn't like to move when the vacuum cleaner is going. At night and in low light, it has an LED light that comes on to help it see even better, so it knows what not to run into. It'll avoid obstacles like shoes, wires, trash cans, the pets. It is pretty cool. And because it recognizes obstacles and knows how to react to them, it doesn't really get stuck. Like I said, we've been using it for a few weeks now, and it has yet to have gotten stuck anywhere in our house. And for those of you wondering if it will battle the husky fur, it definitely does. It has amazing suction power. I love that it will go and empty itself. That is another thing that's really cool about this. You know, again, we have dogs with the hair and the fur, so this, as it fills up, will go back to the dock and it will empty itself so it can then pick up more hair. That is such a great feature for our house. Now let's talk a little bit about the mop. Now, we don't have that much hard floor in our living room, but we do let this thing loose in our kitchen as well. You can have it map the rooms, and then it knows what room it's in, so I will tell it to go into the kitchen. We'll lift our little gate, it'll go into the kitchen, and it will mop the floor in there, which is great. It mops, it empties the dirty water, tells you when it needs to be refilled, tells you when the dirty water needs to be emptied, and then it cleans and dries the mop heads, which is so stinking cool. And yes, it is smart enough to know the difference between the hard floor and the rugs, or the hard floor and the carpet, and when it transitions from one to the other, if it was mopping, it will stop mopping. In the app, you can also set it to vacuum only mode, mop and vacuum, or mop only mode. When it's done mopping, it has a self-drying feature where it's going to go in and it is going to dry the mop pads, which is great because then you don't have stinky mop pads. It's really cool the way this thing works. We've been having a lot of fun with it for the past few weeks. Another thing that I found really cool about this is it does have app and voice control, so you can connect it with your home AI system and then you can tell it to do whatever you need it to do, which I also thought was a pretty cool feature. It does also have a child lock protection, which is going to prevent kids and pets from accidentally starting it and making it go around your house.
The child lock has been activated.
Another feature I thought was great. I don't like to let this run when we're not home, so if the dogs do step on it and try to run it, it's not going to take off without us knowing. So thanks again to Yuffie for sending us this. Like I said, I absolutely love it. This thing has been great. You can see here, these are the water tanks. You have your clean water tank, your dirty water tank, and then this is the bin where it sucks everything in and keeps on going. What do you think of that? She's like, that's pretty cool. If you guys want to get your own Yuffie vacuum cleaner, there will be links down in the video description below. So another question we were asked is, how do we get the dogs to stay in the bathtub when we're bathing them? And I have a few solutions. Eleanor's never even had a bath and she doesn't mind staying in there at all, but I have a couple solutions. One, we have this, which is a suction cup, and it has a little, like a leash on it. Hold on, I'll put it on her. So you can see there, you can suction it to your bathtub, and it has the little leash on it, kind of like when we use the grooming table, and it'll make sure to hold them in the bathtub. But the other thing I like to use is the lick mat. So normally what I'll do is I'll fill this up with peanut butter and then put it right there. Eleanor's like, but there's no peanut butters in this. And then what I usually freeze them beforehand, and then the dogs will lick and lick and lick and lick and lick while I give them a bath. So we also got asked about leave-in conditioner. Something you guys may not know is if you're going to brush your dogs while their coats are dry, using a leave-in conditioner or a conditioning spray is going to stop their fur from breaking. If you were to just take this brush and run it down the dog's coat while it's dry, you do risk breaking some of their fur. But if you use a conditioning spray before you do that, not only is it gonna make them smell great and is it gonna make their fur super soft, but it's also gonna help stop with breakage. So of course, my favorite conditioning spray that I use is Ice on Ice. Yeah, it's a detangler, it's a finishing spray, it's a conditioning spray, it smells amazing, and it works really, really good on the dog. So I usually use that, and then this is the slicker brush that I tend to use. This is one of my favorite slicker brushes that I own. And again, I own multiple brushes, but that one's one of my favorites. So those are just some of the tips and tricks we have for you for when it comes to grooming your dogs. And again, most of these tips and tricks can be used for any breed of dog. The biggest thing when it comes to your dogs, make sure you brush their coats. You know, make sure you're keeping them in good shape. Keeping those coats brushed and blown out on all breeds of dogs is really gonna help them have nice, healthy fur. I know you guys see my dogs in video all the time. They have nice, healthy, shiny looking fur. You can see how shiny it is. And that's just a few of the ways that we get it to look that way. What do you think? She's like, I think I'm ready for a nap. Yeah, me too, honey, me too. All right, you guys, we hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any other questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them. And if you think we should do more Q&A videos like this, kind of like an old school Fan Friday, even though it's not on a Friday, let us know. Follow us on Instagram, because that's usually where I try to get the questions sourced from. What do you think, Miss Memphis? She's like, I'm the happiest girl on the planet. All right, you guys, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. As always, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay positive, dream big, and we will see you again soon. Are you resting? Oh, I missed it. You were resting your teeth on the windowsill. She's like, I would never rest my teeth on the windowsill. You keep telling yourself that. Goodbye, party.